Here we are. So, final round in the group for Daniel and for Valas. And these two players are essentially on the brink of elimination. Their percentage chances are like 1.5% chance to survive. What both of them need here today is a 3-0 victory over the other. If that does not happen, they are both out. And then even if someone wins 3-0, if freaking Andy gets one win against Viper, they are still relegated. So there is a chance. I mean, the maths is 1.5%, but Viper over Andy, you would expect Viper to win there. And so if Viper is as good as everyone thinks he is there against Andy, maybe that 3-0 is realistic, and then maybe these two could have some hope. We've got Daniel playing as the Japanese. He's 2 wins right now, and then it's 3 wins for Valas. The other thing to mention, actually, is let's say this goes 2-1 Daniel. Then Daniel might be able to pass Valas. I would have to double-check. But get into the 5th place spot. And even though 5th place is still relegated, that is an extra $150 to be 5th. So there is a reward here beyond the $40 per victory. Now, Valas had kind of a slow start, my opinion. I felt like he looked much better against Hart last week. Unfortunately, Hart's been in insane form. So he was only able to get 1 victory. But it felt like very much the case of the first week or two. He wasn't quite in shape. And I could just tell he was less active on the game. And he's come back now. He's been looking good. So I expect, like with many players, things to be better for Valas. Maybe as well, like people play better when they think they're already out and there's less pressure on them. But I think it also is just the shape the players are in. Daniel started off like an absolute demon. And I mean that in a good way this season. Super aggressive. I think in the first round he got swept by Hart. But he was close to getting some victories. And then he won 2-1 against Andy. And he's just always so fun to watch, man. There's been multiple sneak vills. There's lots of aggression. Against Viper, the Viper Daniel series was incredibly entertaining. But unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to get the damage done. Now, I know my audience, and I know most of you guys probably didn't prioritize your days around watching Daniel necessarily. And so with that being the case, you probably did see the Viper in Daniel because it's Viper, right? And so a lot of the impressions that you guys are going to have of Daniel is from that series. There was also the confidence issue of he's up against Viper. So if things go wrong, he just feels dead. And maybe some people will say there was some early resigns there. I wouldn't expect that today, okay? Wouldn't expect that today whatsoever. There's the doc on the back for Daniel, playing as the Japanese. And then we've got Valas playing as the Byzantines, which always super solid. If they survive, they don't have many early bonuses to work with. So the longer the game goes, the better it is for Byzantines. And it's just the perfect matchup for both players. Like, Daniel's an aggressive player. Of course, he's going to want the Japanese. There's so much you can do with them. And Valas is a defensive player. Of course, he's going to want the Byzantines. Varian says, I plan my days specifically to avoid watching Daniel. And as you can see, I'm clearly failing miserably. Yeah, okay. But if anyone here is planning their days around watching Daniel, it's got to be Varian, right? I don't know. Some Danny Boy fans have felt some pain over the years of like, he's so good and then, just not quite getting to the level everyone wants. But, I mean, he's not full-time in AoE, dude. He plays really good. He can't commit. He's full-time working and like all of you guys and can still show up and play his heart out here. So I think that's perspective you have to keep in mind. And I think Daniel, I know he's living, and AoE is not his full priority. So Scout's pretty active for Daniel now. He's been moving around for a bit here, and that Scout's going to find the dock. So he'll know exactly where Valas is. Valas, he already has a Vil following his Scout, and he's just seen what he needs to know where Daniel's going to be. So he did this before. Type of 1, if you remember Valas doing this in his previous set against Hart. He walked underneath Hart's TC by accident. So he just takes the risk and sends the villager out. And so now he's like, okay, well, if his TC is there, he's probably docked back here. And he's going to find it. And that villager's going to be right there. Like, this is much earlier than you would normally do this. Now, usually, in Daniel's position, you want to check the shoreline. But he's pretty close to the shoreline already. He might feel like there's no way a dock goes up there. And there's other things to scout for Daniel. He's got to see what is Valas going to do, what resources is he taking. But if that dock goes up, that is incredibly difficult for Daniel to defend if he doesn't notice it. You notice it, it's one thing. If you don't notice it, it can be horrible. Even with the Japanese, you can lose the fish. And guys, he's adding a fifth fishing ship right now. And he's going to check this shoreline. He never expects there to be a sneak at this time. I think he's actually bringing his scout back for when the villager shows up. Yeah, look, he's going to wall this. This is amazing for Valas. Daniel's going to wall this. He's like, all right, this is when the Vil comes. The Vil normally comes now. So I didn't see anything. We're going to wall this off, and we're going to have a safe pond. Meanwhile, the dock is there. This is crazy good for Valas. Again, against Hart, it looked kind of weird because he just YOLO'd forward with a Vil and ran underneath the TC. But he takes the risk. And, I mean, Daniel has no clue. If you wait for 2 fire galleys right now, you have a pretty good chance of killing all those fish. And still Daniel's like, nope, I'm good. I'm walled. My fish are completely safe. So I wonder how much Valas recognizes. See, Daniel's got to be confused. If you're just now seeing a barracks, there should be a dock. And there he goes. There he goes. That is amazing stuff from Daniel to at least know to check, because it wouldn't make any sense otherwise. If the barracks is late, the wood must have been going somewhere else. And unfortunately for you, Daniel, that is directly on your pond. It's better that he notices this now instead of later. And if he was any other civ, he's screwed. With Japanese, he's got some chances. And Daniel now under even more pressure to do some damage on land. And that's where he's extremely capable. So he sees that gold's exposed. Villager from Daniel's actually walking across the map right now. Let's not forget about that. And the spearman will not see that. And there's... look at this. Maybe Valas has moved his fish around to find the deep fish. Or maybe he's checking that shoreline. Fire galleys are out. Now, just because of how long it took for Daniel to spot this, there's already 2 fire galleys for Valas. And he'll roast one of the fishing ships, but there goes the Vil for Daniel. Here are the scouts for Daniel. Man, there's so much happening. There's so much to look at right now. So much that can go right, and so much that can go wrong. And this is clearly going right for Daniel and wrong for Valas. Valas has also shifted a villager to the north. And there's also now a villager from Daniel to the south. There is so much activity right now. And Daniel also has an archer range already, producing archers and sending them forward. What a game. Valas sees this, knows he doesn't have anything to stop this, really. I mean, the spearmen are eventually just going to go down. So he does the right thing here and just drops a tower on that gold. So Daniel won't be able to disrupt the gold for very long. I think Daniel just has to give up his fish here. It seems like he's going to stop producing. And I'm not sure exactly what happened with those Vils. Daniel's microing like a madman right now. But this, guys, is so important. And Valas did see it with that fish there. He did see it. He is making a fire to defend, and that's a big deal. So, similar approach that Valas used in the past against Hart. Sneak dock, and then go into spears and skirms. Against Hart, he actually had the eco lead, but he was consistently getting out microed. And I think there could be a similar theme here. Daniel is just like Hart in that he loves his land aggression. It's actually a repeat for Valas. He doesn't have fletching yet, and there's archers on the doorstep. This is amazing, though. Like, taking out that pond is incredible. Daniel now has to somehow add fish, and then also mass fires here. And Daniel doesn't know that Valas knows that he is here, and Valas is actually waiting as well. Could actually put you at a disadvantage if you patrol into the dock. And I planned on using Dark Age to say what's up to everybody, thank a bunch of people for the support, and, you know, ease into the day. Not the Dark Age for that. That's just not going to happen. But fletching is on the way now for Valas. Has lost a couple skirms, but things are okay. Daniel could maybe transition into farms as well. There's so much to think about. And Daniel's still just poking his wood line. Has not killed a single eco unit, though. Oh, Daniel with 3 fires versus 2. Will he kill the fish here? Valas now has to stabilize that while also defending the wood line. But he is defending the wood line. And he is repairing his ship. He was, anyways. I think it went down. Daniel even going for another dock now, and Daniel will notice the dock from Valas in the north. And will Daniel notice? I think Daniel just noticed the south. Man, how fast is this? They're just so active, dude. The fact that Daniel is docking the north and is reacting with the Vil in the south and is also doing all of this, it also has this army is just unreal. Oh, and by the way, 45 seconds of TC idle time for both of them. If you really want to feel bad about your own abilities, go watch a normal Arabia game or arena game you play and look at that idle time for yourself. In like mid-castle age or something. Or even in feudal age on the back of a scout rush. It's probably going to be above that. But these two, they might be relegated. But they're absolute animals of the game. And right now, it kind of feels like this could go either way. But with Valas on the way to castle age, you probably prefer his position. Daniel still has not clicked up. He has to work an awful lot to win some of these pawns. He is probably looking there now. So easy to lose your scouts there. Wow, and Valas actually walled his villager in. Daniel will bring an archer here, though. That villager will die. There's the archer. So it shouldn't be too big of an issue. So Valas is... How many fish does he actually have right now? He just lost another one. He also lost the villager in the north. Daniel bringing the archers to the shoreline is really smart here. Like, Valas is going to make it to castle age fast. But his eco is really not great. He doesn't have any farms. Like, he's going to go double stable with 5 on food. Maybe can make 2 knights, and that's about it. It's enough to scare Daniel, though, and make Daniel think that he's really far behind. But, you know, you hope that with Daniel's reputation that he does continue to fight here. I think he should. And like I said, I think against Viper, he just didn't think... He felt if he fell behind Viper, he would be out. Against Valas, I think we'll have a little bit more confidence. Valas is fishing freely here. And there is still a villager back here. And then... I guess he has to decide on how he wants to play this. It feels like the play is mainly knights. But Daniel swoops in with some archers out of nowhere. Just misses that Vil. Classic Daniel, though. But that's 2 archers, by the way. They're stacked on top of each other. And the villager should get sniped. Daniel's still 2 minutes away from castle age, but has done more damage to Valas than Valas has done to him, at least with the eco kills. The thing is, Daniel doesn't have any clue. Well, maybe he has a clue now because he saw the knight there. But he doesn't have a lot of defense for one knight. His eco is better, but it won't be if he loses Vils right now. And Daniel's going to need to fight this off. This is a really awkward moment, still a minute away from castle. He fights it off with the Vils and then brings in a spear. Valas is there, though. The spear can't hit because the Vils are there. The Vils are... You're doing the spearman's job, villagers. Man, I really would like to see Daniel pull the villagers away towards the TC or something. Fighting off with villagers is just not going to be it. It gives such value to the knights. But still has collected more resources. Did kill off most of the skirms. Spearman will get a couple hits. But, yo, Daniel, pull your Vils, bro. Pull your Vils, man. Get him out. Get him out of here. Game's still even. 44 eco for both. Villager goes down. Valas obviously going to be feeling very happy with those Vil snipes. I mean, that's fantastic. But now Daniel has the spears. Daniel should be able to quick wall. Daniel could add a monastery to get conversions. Daniel. Oh, boy. Oh, man. He's just... He's looking elsewhere, clearly. But this is really bad for him right now. Valas has fixed his food count behind this. Valas is just picking Daniel apart. There are some scouts from Daniel, so as that happens, he is going to try and raid. He's also going to go double monastery, so clearly he's planning some type of YOLO aggression. But Valas is taking the pond in the south. Valas has retaken the pond in the north. And Valas is also still working with this pond over here, so Valas is going to have most of the water control. Wonder, will the Byzantine player be able to see this? Not quite. But there's a lot of vision for Valas, and you have to imagine he'll notice this. Daniel, after those losses, the last 5 minutes have been so painful. He's got to go all in here. Especially against the Byzantines. There's 10 fires for Valas. There's 2 for Daniel. So not a situation where you can really try and recover on water either. That would probably be a waste. Valas did such a good job. Just, he got to castle. The knights got crazy value. Obviously, you could argue Daniel should have tried to pull away or quick wall or something. I think quick wall was really difficult with the original situation. But certainly, I think you pull the Vils to the TC and wall this in. But there's so much to wall. It's just like... Not easy. Okay, Daniel's actually come back on this pawn. Kills the fishing ship. That's a positive. And let's see how his monk micro is here. Valas will go light cav to snipe those monks, but Daniel's got the scouts out too, and there's not many scouts out for Valas yet. Valas' gold is right here. He does have other golds in the back, but he's not there yet. You know, the scariest version of Daniel is the Daniel who knows that he's probably going to die if he doesn't do damage. A desperate Daniel is the worst type of Daniel to face up against. And that's exactly what this is right now. Still massing more monks. There's even a ram. I would love to see Valas counterattack with his knights right now. The knights actually do not benefit him in this fight. The light cav and the camels do. If these knights go to the gold, that is absolutely the best play. It will completely undo this push, but it's hard to think like that in the moment. Daniel sees the monks. Perfect micro. Oh, man, he snipes 2 of them. That's crazy. How did he do that? The ram is there. Monks are there. Daniel needs to body block here. Keep his own monks alive. 1 monk down. 2 monks down. 3 monks will go down. I think only 2 did. Again, this is kind of dangerous. There's not a ton of army out here for Valas. He needs a few more camels. He needs a few more monks, but the ram does go down. And you need to hold in this situation. Your eco superior. You should have more resources flowing in. This is an example of a tower you place when you know that you need a little bit more. You will not see a lot of players place these types of towers, but I love that. Because this is what wins or loses you the game right here, it feels like. And that 1 extra tower just makes it that much more difficult for Daniel to engage, especially with the monks. Monks can't get anywhere near those towers because the monks have the same range as the towers. The scouts are going to get through against a skirm, but Valas has just evacuated this. And Daniel, I think, is just going to shift towards the TC now because he can't go near those towers. Makes sense. Counterattack with the knights. This is what I'm talking about. Daniel's got nothing. That's so good. That's so good. Like, Daniel's going all in, and he can't justify sending things home. His monasteries are also forward. And now Daniel's swooping in to go get monks, but there's camels and there's spears, and it's looking worse and worse for him. If Daniel loses this game, he is confirmed to be relegated. Now, the position, 5th or 6th, is still kind of up in the air, I think. Potentially. But just Valas went for the, I mean, the TPD, sorry, can't speak. Triple pawn domination. And those raids in early castle were amazing. Atonement pays off there for Daniel. He does convert a monk. He's doing the right things, but it's so difficult to push Byzantines, man. Look at what that counterattack did, by the way. Look at all the idols for Daniel. He's still so fixated on the front. Ultra fixated on the front. And so I would like to see that happen again for Valas, actually. Like, why would you not just send more knights there again? Any monks or spears or units that Daniel has to send home to defend that is then not pushing you. So you might as well. I think Valas just knows, I've got the lead. It doesn't have to be pretty. I just have to play safe now. And so he'll actually castle behind his TC. Very safe. He could have maybe placed it in front of this TC. Also, sneaky stable from this villager in the back. This guy's the MVP. This started the ball rolling for Valas. Valas won't make playoffs, so that's kind of funny, the Palisades there. I could explain that later. But Valas isn't going to make playoffs or anything. Best case, he just survives. But if he were to be playing Cross again anytime soon, I think opponents should know that he's going to send the Vil when he does. I have not seen a player send the Vil quite as early. Oh, man, more tower defense. Bodcanero coming in. Daniel's trying to do damage anywhere he can. He has to avoid the towers on the other side. He has to avoid the castle now. The knights are going to dive. There are Lightcav to snipe the monks, but there's also castle fire and spears. Does Valas have enough here? Still no guard tower. Daniel's done the right thing to pull most of his monks back. Some of the monks have died. Tower's down. What an absolute mess this is right now. And that's what Daniel needs. He doesn't... Oh, wow. He's quick-walled from the camel counterattack. And he's getting lots of Vil kills. but yeah, he resigns because he knows he's probably dead. I mean, listen, it is kind of a Daniel thing to be looking at a situation where he's going to get a couple kills here. That's very good. But his base is wide open. It's an extremely uncomfortable position. He's down by 30 eco. And he's been dead for some time. He can't push the castle. He can't push these TCs. His opponent's on a third TC. There's another tower here. And this is all going to go down in time. A couple more camels for Valas. Maybe a light cav or two. And everything goes down. And Daniel still wide open. So, Daniel's out. He's relegated. Valas, though, if he wins the next two, can possibly survive here. I'll pull up the stats there in a second. And there's the res collected. More of everything for Valas. Again, we said with this Civ matchup, the longer the game goes, the better for Byzantines. But rarely do you see the Byzantines get that big of a lead. And it was all down to that sneak dock. And it was so crazy to think, Daniel, his plan was to wall that up. But the villager just came so early. It came at such an abnormal time. He didn't expect it. And then by the time he scouted it, it was too late. I think he did a really good job to recover, but Valas did a great job playing safe, man. The early tower on the gold, the spears and skirms, and then taking those pawns, too. It was really good play. And here we are. All right, so I was just saying that the last time Daniel, the two times Daniel got a win were against freaking Andy. One of them was on Shoals. And then the other one was on this map, Kilimanjaro, where he played Vietnamese against Hindustanis. This is actually the exact same Civ matchup that was played. It was a banger of a game. Andy probably would have wanted it back. Daniel just kept coming with the aggression. Now, in that game, we had freaking Andy actually try and fish boom by docking the pawns here on Kilimanjaro. And the pond that has any fish in it is actually on the front for Valas. So that could be tougher to justify. But Valas does play a lot of Black Forest. He might consider it himself. And Daniel likes to fish boom on Arabia sometimes. He likes to flex on Viper with that. I know Viper likes to try it, But, I mean, there's really no better opportunity. If you want to try that play I would not have expected, you could go for it. Both players are kind of towards the corner here, which does make it a little bit easier to wall in theory. They also have more work to do to get other areas of the map. So enough wood to work with at the start, I guess, for Daniel. Very forward berries, forward stone, forward gold. And then for Valas, this gold is way worse because you only get 7 tiles. So those 3 tiles are brutal. But these 4 tiles are amazing behind some wood lines. Again, 150 wood per tree. So it's enough to get you to Castle Age, but once you're in Castle Age, you normally need to fight for more. You can go to the sides where it's flat, or you can move to the hill, which is directly between the 2 player bases. Ramsey says, T90, any chance to stream on YouTube as well? Twitch always buffers for me, and YouTube works perfectly at 4K. I have streamed on YouTube in the past. I only did it for certain stages of the event, so I would do the later stages. If I am going to stream on YouTube for this event, it won't be for group stage. I mean, this is the last day of group stage, but I think there's some downsides to streaming on YouTube, and I don't really want to get into it right now. But I think if I do stream on YouTube in the future, it'll only be for main events. So I'm still actually debating. I need to look, but I think it's possible I will stream the quarterfinals and up to the finals on YouTube this upcoming week. So that would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I can't really tell you if I am 100% yet. But it is possible to multi-stream, but multi-streaming all the time is not necessarily in my plans. Which, again, it's kind of a deeper conversation, but most of my streams are probably going to remain on Twitch. But yeah, that sucks. I know some people have issues with some platforms versus others, so I feel for you there. Twitch will be making some changes to how they handle quality aspects soon. In fact, I will be able to stream at higher quality on Twitch potentially soon, and maybe that'll lead to things loading a bit easier as well. So we'll see. Kind of weird how Valas built his lumber camp here. Like, this is exposed now. I guess you can still wall it, but typically you want your lumber camp on the inner portion. I guess because you can't place as efficient a lumber camp on this area of the wood. That's probably why. But he doesn't go for a dock. He goes for the mill. Daniel also goes for the mill. And I expect to see scouts here. Ready Whip says, watch Penguin Z's video on YouTube streaming. He is recommending it big time. Yeah, I know who that guy is. I'm sorry, but his situation isn't comparable to the average creator. Much less an Age of Empires 2 content creator. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt. I do tons of research on everything. Both speaking to other creators, but also like people at the platforms if I can. And also I've been at this for a while, and I have some pretty specific theories on YouTube streaming. So again, I'm not saying like the concrete forever, that's how I'll do it, but at least for the time being, that's kind of my game plan. So it's not as simple of just stream everywhere and it's better. Because, you know, you could also technically multi-stream. I could be streaming to Facebook still. I could be sending it to all these different platforms. So, but yeah, I get it. So Daniel has found Valas, or at least he's very close. Well, he's Vietnamese. I'm so stupid. Of course he knows. Of course he knows where his opponent is. Well, actually, Tato lost his scout to his opponent's TC when he was Vietnamese. So maybe I shouldn't be so used to people finding the opponent here. But he knows where the TC is. And he will look to scout the opening here. Kind of scouted the opposite of what he would have wanted so far. Oh, no, he saw the barracks. He sees the mill. And he'll just want to verify that this is actually a scout opening. Valas didn't have that bonus to work with. And so Valas has to confirm that. But it's Daniel. And you're really far apart on this map. So we really just haven't seen a lot of other openings. It's just the distance between the two of them. I think if they were much closer, we could see, like Rocky Forest, for example, they've been quite close. There's one avenue through the middle, so we've seen lots of spears and skirms, which are slower units. But scouts make sense. You just can't rely too heavily on walls here for Daniel. You can still wall, but you can't go walls no army against Hindustanis, because Hindustanis can bust down those walls pretty quickly here. Andrew Tiger says, T90, watched yesterday's stream with MBL. I have a lot of respect for how you handled the chaos. That was a wild cast. Yeah, it was chaotic. I mean, I said at the start of stream, there were times where I thought it was going to completely go off the rails. There was some slight concern that seeped in every now and then, but at the end of the day, I think it was a really good show. And it was the interview portion at the end was really good as well. So it was good, man. So the scouts for Valas are here. He may engage onto the spearman, but I don't think he saw it. Daniel's walling up to this hill as well. So these walls will be even more vulnerable if Valas attacks them. Scouts get into the back. Spearmen are around for Daniel. Things should be fine. Feels like he's more interested in getting his walls down than being aggressive right now. And I see someone asking what happened yesterday. You're just going to have to watch. Yeah, like... It was just a crazy cast. We had Doubt and Margugo on the brink of elimination. We had MBL co-casting. It's not really something that can be easily explained. I think chaos is the right word for it. It was a good time. I saw some memes posted around the community on it. And it seemed like, for the most part, everyone had a really good time. So I had a lot of fun. Archer range already for Daniel. Again, he's been relatively defensive with his opening so far, but I think he'll be aggressive once he gets his walls down. We'll need more farms for more scouts. And Valas is walled to the left. And not fully walled to the right, but you can kind of envision it. And I just like how he hasn't gone for walls on hills. Would have thought that maybe Daniel would wall more so this way. Maybe he wants to secure an extra wood line. You can tell Daniel, he knows his opponent has scouts, so he's waiting at home, trying to intercept them. And then Valas, for a second, I think was going to do the same here, so. The scouts are now going to click forward. Should go to the open area here. But this is kind of late timing to realize your opponent's on a range. Your opponent already has 2 archers, and you're realizing there's a range. It's a problem. Also, think there is a hole here between that house and between that palisade. And oh my goodness, Daniel noticed that last second. He definitely didn't know about that until that very moment. And Daniel gets the house wall. That could have been disastrous, because then he probably would have had to chase all of that. And now he's ensuring he's fully walled, and now he's pushing forward. He has 2 spears, 2 archers in that group. And he will be fully walled from here. But Valas is like... Valas has balanced his eco just perfectly here. Really good. Look at these resources already. Just enough food and gold to head towards castle. Woodline's getting a little bit awkward, but that'll be the case for Daniel too. And Daniel going for fletching now. But is that really going to offer much for him? He doesn't have a lot of scouts to break through houses. Fletching doesn't seem like it's going to bring a ton of value here. But maybe it will. There will need to be some walls behind eventually for Valas. And what Daniel did when he played up against Andy in this matchup was he stayed on crossbow instead of cav archer because the Hindustani camels. So I think there's value to making archers here. Again, Hindustanis. You need to have army control against them. You cannot rely solely on walls. Look how fast that house is going down right now. It's kind of a shame that one tree is there. That's actually blocking Valas from grouping all of his scouts onto the house. Those scouts are doing more damage than the villager repairing is repairing here. It's a crazy bonus. Daniel doesn't have that bonus, so it's very unlikely he's going to break through. Again, Daniel would have known he needed the 3-0 here, or he was going to be relegated. And then if these scouts were to get through, this would be painful. There is a spearman coming in off screen. And Valas, I don't think he wanted to do that. Loses a scout. Daniel's fine. And Daniel, I think, also might have lost a scout there. His one was weak. And he's also fine and on the way up, too. Sees the skirms. And back to producing archers and adding the second range now. It's always so funny. Like, I'll find time to read chat messages every now and then. And usually I'm like, okay, that's a good message. I'll read that to chat. But occasionally there's a message which I absolutely don't want to read to chat. And it's like a big WTF in my mind. And then you just hear me like kind of chuckle. And, you know, not say anything. So, again, not going to draw attention to that one. But thank you, random chatter, for telling me about your bowel movements. I think it's really important for Daniel to save these 3 archers here. Like, he'll have... Oh, well, this is important for him to save that archer as well. It feels like he needs crossbowmen and knights, maybe. That's probably his game plan. He sold his stone here. Daniel clearly not really... He's trying to find damage where he can. But I feel like you kind of need that stone to boom up a little bit. These archers have not accomplished what Daniel would have wanted, but really nice micro there. Actually getting away is pretty valuable. He stopped producing archers entirely, by the way. So this, maybe it feels like cav archers, but then again, there's elite skirm now. So the game plan was definitely go crossbow and knights. And I think with the low number of archers, he thought it would be a waste since he saw skirms here. And so, cav archers it is for Daniel. University in the back. Still kind of worried about the wood situation. He's got more wood lines to go to. But it's just not easy to focus on that. You're not used to having to refresh lumber camps as quickly as a player. It's something you really need to think about. Valas thought about it. That lumber camp's already been moved. And now a TC's up, and now Vils are on stone and wood there. Valas does not have a chance at playoffs, no. But Valas, if he 3-0s here, could survive if Andy gets 3-0'd in the second series against Viper. And so, chat, I'll actually ask you again, what do you think the chances are Viper wins 3-0 against Andy? Be mindful, Andy may be watching. But seriously, I mean, that's going to be a sizable percentage from some people. Like, maybe somewhere around 40 or 50%, right? So, Valas is 2 games away from getting the sweep. Maybe it's possible. Would be devastating for Andy. He's had a really solid season. And he was really... It's not like he got stomped in some of his losses. Really close in some of his losses. He's had a great season. To me, I would say Andy's had the better season than Valas, but we haven't seen Valas play these 2 games yet. And it doesn't matter what someone's opinion is. It's all about the wins at the end of the day. Skirms and Camels doing their job, but Skirms are pretty darn slow. And so Daniel getting ballistics now for the Cav Archers. Daniel just doesn't seem to have a lot of faith in his macro here. It just seems to be micro aggression at all times. Ballistics obviously is a big upgrade. But if these fights don't go well, he might really struggle economically. There is the lumber camp I was asking for. He's got 16 on this gold, by the way. And now TC number 3 for Valas. This is the balance that you kind of expect. 3 TCs. Monk's out already to snag some relics. That's a really good location to get the TC down. And just perfect play from Valas, guys. Just enough resistance to make Daniel think twice about engaging there. And Daniel does have ballistics. So could actually even fight the skirms. And he is. That's really good work. But that town center's still on the way up. Valas will fall back towards it now to try and deny it. Daniel wants the monk. Won't get it. Valas is micro good. But he doesn't have many upgrades on his camels either. And if Daniel can move in here, Daniel might be able to deny the TC. He just comes in at the last second. And the TC goes up. That was really close there. Honestly, if that's where if you send 3 vills, that TC gets completely denied. And things look pretty terrible for you. Second TC for Daniel. That's a good TC spot, though. There's gold and there's stone around it. And now he's on the prowl, and Valas struggling to keep up with this a little bit. Obviously, sending a lot of his military to the hill there. And so just didn't change the rally point. If Daniel gets through, he's not exactly going to have a good time either. Daniel's knocking at the door. And there's a gap between the mill and between... Oh! I think there's also a gap between the range and the stable. But Daniel doesn't want to get trapped, and now he pounces on the skirms. That's good, though. That's actually good for him. He snipes the monk. There's not many skirms there. This could be a great fight for Daniel, guys. Oh, man, the skirms have missed a lot of their volleys. Ballistics has absolutely paid off. And this is just what Daniel is, man. He's an aggressive player. He'll go aggression first, eco second. And Valas is the opposite. Now, Valas does have a really nice economy. But can he keep that economy working efficiently? Another monk goes down. Vills are going down. Now, the TC here is really important. I wonder if Valas will try and build a castle there. Ghoulems could technically be a good way to get out of the situation if you're Valas. But, man, Daniel just came out of nowhere. And now Siege Workshop will go up on the hill. Valas might see that. That's crazy that monk is there. And there's a knight, so he could deny that. Daniel knocking over here. Daniel knocking over here. And Valas full Black Forest mode. Full Black Forest mode. Stone walls. But at what cost? Oh, and there's a hole! Brutal, man. So 5 vills down. Make it 6. Make it 7. And then the knights and the cav archers could run even further. Oh, Daniel's eco count's going to be fine. Any worry I had that Daniel wouldn't have the same economy, it's kind of disappearing. The micro continues to be amazing. And Daniel doesn't hesitate in these moments. 11 Vill kills now. The eco's completely disrupted for Valas. He is building the castle on the hill, though. And he does notice the siege workshops there. He can't deny it. But man, there's just so much army here. He still needs a response. Skirms are on the way. But Daniel will get out with the Cav Archers now. And it just it doesn't feel like Valas has the balance he needs to really have the Ghoulems and the upgrades too, right? Like, he doesn't have a free-flowing farm eco anymore. He doesn't have the food to make skirms and Ghoulems and get the armor for both. I mean, and even then, are Ghoulems good against Cav Archers in Castle Age? Kind of a question in my mind, honestly. Someone asks, what if Andy 3-0's Viper? If Andy 3-0's Viper, Viper doesn't make playoffs. We'll find time to talk about that, but I'm pretty certain that that's the case. I'm not 100%, though. I saw that Viper doesn't have... He's not 100% certain to make playoffs coming into the day. Well, does Daniel know that castle's even there? He does now. He does now. But he can still range the town center with the mangonels, with the reposition there. Might be kind of... I think that's going to be kind of complicated. But man, what a game. I mean, credit to Valas for holding on. Valas has enough stone for another castle. And Valas is only 3 villagers behind. So, obviously, he's going to need some really good engagements here. But he's not out of it. I think in Elite Ghoulam is maybe impossible for the Vietnamese to stop. So maybe he wants to get Imp. I think any Ghoulems he makes right now are just to snipe the siege. I really like the shift here from Daniel to just say, I've done damage with the raids. Now let's focus on these TCs. And not move into a million different directions. He's also going to drop a 4th TC over there. Daniel also snagged a relic, and yeah, look how attentive Daniel's being right now. He knows about this. Yeah, those Ghoulems can't get close. Monks from Daniel 2. And the Ghoulems will go in. Will he even kill one Mangonel? No. 3 Ghoulems gone, and TC gone. Daniel's playing like a beast. Daniel's like, I may be going down, but I'm taking you with me, bro. I am taking you with me. Can't do anything about what's already happened, but you can control what's happening right now. It felt like such a fun matchup stylistically between these two coming in. Because they're just very different players. They're kind of the opposites. They're both the same level, but the opposites. One's aggression first. One's defense first. One is amazing micro. One is amazing macro. One is cool and calm under pressure. One is super hyper and crazy. And that castle's going to go up for Daniel. Daniel's honestly playing it kind of perfectly. And Valas needs... I think Valas needs to build a castle to stop this. Or stone walls. I guess there's that. I'm not convinced. I feel like your stone wall could probably... What? Hold on. This is why he's doing it. Valas knows he's behind. He's dropping a castle on Daniel. There's Ghoulems. There's skirms. There's monks on the way. Daniel's castle has the same percentage, and he doesn't have his army here. Oh, no way Valas stays alive with this. No way Valas stays alive with this. Daniel can't get through because of the stone walls. Daniel, you've got to complete this castle, I think. You just got to keep clicking. It's bad, obviously. It's painful, but you got to get it up. And now I think we see petards. Kind of a crazy thing here, though. Daniel's going to click Imp. So you might not want to go for petards. And also, I'm pretty certain the petards will hit with a hill advantage for Valas. So castle v castle like this, the play is normally petards. I think Daniel's castle goes down very quickly. Now Daniel trying to break through. Valas's Mangonel defense is here. And Valas is 1 on gold, by the way. Like, I'm sure he'll sort that out, but his eco isn't great. And Daniel's realizing he could throw everything if he tries to break through there. Look at how messy this has gotten. There's Ghoulems in the back. Daniel's TC here is garrisoned. He's still got 11 vills garrisoned here. Like, everything's just become an absolute mess because of that castle. What a great castle from Valas. If he dropped the defensive castle, he loses this game. Because Daniel just falls back. Daniel goes Imp, no problem. He could still lose this game. But I feel like that gave him a really good chance. He finally got some control back in the game. All of Daniel's army will come home to chase down these random golems now. And that's some real damage there. And now a lot of time for Valas to balance his own eco, and he's not taking any damage. You're constantly fighting for positions like this in the game. Also, petards are ejecting from the wrong side. But it's very difficult to find a moment where you can actually breathe like this. And as a result, 30 on food, lots on golds, and a pretty stable eco for Valas. MTC for Daniel is not this one, but he's going to lose that as well. He still has a Cav Archer army. He still has a castle to make trebs. And he'll actually make another castle here. I can't help but feel like maybe that castle would have been better on the hill. But maybe he could build future castles there. Does Valas have an army to stop Cav Archers? Not really. I mean, skirms and golems technically are good against archers, but imp Cav Archers is a completely different story. Daniel does have to protect his eco and also protect his trebs, though. I think that's why he placed this castle. This castle's meant to just protect the eco. I guess the knights can actually be sick. Yeah, the knights give you a lot of value in defense as well. There's the first treb for Daniel. Valas still hasn't clicked up. That castle's going to start to go down. And Daniel, only 10 vills behind, up an entire age, has done a great job on these extra golds and stones. May even snag that relic there. Fights off the Cav Archer. Valas obviously sees that. But Valas, he needs to engage here. Bracer and chemistry finally on the way for Daniel. He stabilized this. And the pierce armor for the golems is only 4. So even now, the CA are doing 4 damage. They'll do more once the upgrades are in. Castle's almost down. Repairs are in for Valas. He's getting Castle Age armor. He has the skirms and the golems. Honestly, he can probably snipe the trebs. You lose a lot, but you probably get the trebs, right? Well, I think he misclicked there. He'd be lucky if he gets 2. He'll be very lucky if he gets 2. Oh, yikes. Okay, he gets 2, but I mean, he didn't just lose everything. In golems, he also lost the skirms. So that came at a cost. And Daniel also has trebs here as well. Daniel's going to have 2 castles, and it will be 0 castles for Valas. Or sorry, I can't count. It'll be 1. But can he hold on until he's an imp? What's his army comp? His army was going to have to be golems. And without castles, that's going to be a tough task. Nice defense from Daniel. I began to get worried for him because Valas found some really nice moments in the game. But even this, as long as Daniel notices, everything will be fine. He does notice. And still protecting the trebs. And now 20 on stone for Daniel, so he can even get another castle soon. And Daniel has clearly recognized that the sides of the map have lots of resources. Wow, look at this. He's actually... I don't understand exactly what's happening here, because there's houses as well. But he's going to drop a TC there. Valas sees that and will just drop a tower real quick, because he can't focus anywhere else. Daniel wants to go to that gold, but he's leaving his trebs. Bro, you can't lose your trebs. Danny boy, come back and protect your trebs. Protect your trebs. Don't lose your trebs, Daniel. See, it's so easy when you're this fast to just think, I gotta move, I gotta go somewhere, I gotta do something. But not in this situation. This situation, you protect those trebs at all costs. Elite Goulem's on the way. So this could get more serious, but still so much stone invested into just keeping this castle up for Valas. TC does get denied over here, by the way. That TC will not complete. And Monk goes down. That's not great for Daniel. Cavalier, though, and CA. As long as Daniel has the gold, I'm still wondering if he's going to have that. It should be way better than anything Valas can make. But the nice thing about Elite Golem, so you can't research the final armor with this Civ, but they get a big stat increase with Elite. So it's still 8 Pierce armor. And that's kind of cool because sometimes getting the unique tech and also the final armor is really difficult. TC did actually complete here. But, like, how much stone has Valas invested into repairing this? This castle's taking 25,000 damage. Like, I thought this castle was going to be down forever ago. Daniel's probably thought the same. He's probably annoyed. He's like, what's happening? He's dropping a castle here to protect these golds. And he's leaving his trebs again. But he does have Cavalier here. And, yeah, Valas sees the CA move away, so he goes in to snipe the trebuchets. I think he gets them, but, again, at what cost? And, again, maybe he doesn't get them all. Maybe he was looking here. Daniel's defensive castle works out. Daniel's Cavalier and CA keep most of the trebs alive. Ghoulam can be strong, but they're not Cobra Car strong. This is... You would need a lot more strength than what the Ghoulams are going to provide to have a chance here. This is... It's 50 army for Danny Boy, and it's 18 for Valas. And the unit he's relying on is a unique unit out of castles, which he's losing. They do have, what, 70 HP now? So 70 HP. So it's still not that much HP. And Daniel's Cav Archers are just going off on a raiding expedition. And look at how many Cavalier Daniel has here. I like this from Daniel. Maybe he could have tried this before, but he was playing patient. He's got the map control. He's got the eco. And he will slaughter those Vils. The Vils can't repair anymore. After that, Daniel can castle in the very same position. The Trebs are still alive. The CA are maybe going to have some problems. Okay, Valas. That was pretty sick. But Daniel ahead in this game and wins the game. And so with that, it's actually amazing for freaking Andy. That confirms that both of these players are actually relegated. Daniel says, I'm bringing you with me, bro. But we will have a final game. Still a final game. And I actually need to double check this. Maybe the final game determines who is 5th and who's 6th, which is a $150 difference. But well played from Daniel. I think for Valas, it's really hard to say, but obviously it was the fights in early castle. He had the eco lead, but what he didn't do is prioritize as many upgrades for the military. Daniel went crazy upgrades. He has Vietnamese already, which have more HP. He went for ballistics. He mixed in the knights, all with armor. And great engagements from him. Valas made him work very hard. But that's what people get excited about with Daniel. The fights were just so good all game. Every engagement Daniel took just seemed like a good one. And in the end, collected more resources as well. Obviously, more gold, which was the key. Didn't really need the food as much as Valas did. Everything that Valas made this game cost food. All right, so let me double check. Because it is possible Valas is ahead of Daniel on tiebreak or something. But I think... So right now... Yeah. So right now, Valas has 4 wins and Daniel has 3. If Daniel wins this, he goes 5th place, gets an extra $150 on top of the $40 for the win. So this next game is a $190 game, essentially. And while they're both relegated... They also, the thing to remember, technically speaking, is it does affect their seed in Gold League. Because the 6th place players will all be separated in a group next time. The 5th place players will all be separated in a group next time. But, like, they're not playing for a seed in Gold League right now. They're playing for $190 and some pride. Like, they're not thinking about it that way. But I had to pull the technically. So, all right. So here we are. We got Bengalis for Daniel and Burgundians for Valas. So kind of expected. Again, the winner of this goes 5th place. The loser is 6th. Getting 5th place gives you an extra $150 on top of the $40 per win. So $190 game. That's not bad. Daniel's playing as the Bengalis, which I think I literally just said, but this Civ will get the extra Vils. Has the armored monks. And does have a pretty solid late game, but I would say their late game is more awkward to play because of the lack of bombard cannon. And not only do the Burgundians get bombard cannon, but the Burgundians get some of the best bombard cannons because of the extra damage output. So things are slightly more straightforward. And I'm gonna just have to buy a new mouse. I've tried to clean this mouse. I've tried to fix the mouse wheel. I'm not gonna do it during TTL because I don't have the time. I doubt it even bothers you guys, but like occasionally my mouse wheel will just go whoop and just like whoop and just like, and then I rant about it. And then a bunch of people in chat say, we really didn't mind T90. And that's the situation. So 9 relics on the map, 5 in the middle. The ones in the middle are kind of shaped in a V. That's interesting. And then we've got 2 in the north. And then we've got 2 in the south. And then the other thing to talk about is the extra golds. And the extra golds are actually in the southern area. So this is technically like a neutral gold, right? So somewhat close to Valas. And then there's this gold, which is somewhat close to Daniel. And then that means the neutral stones get pushed to the north. So extra stone in the north, extra gold in the south. Wouldn't have noticed without you pointing it out. Yeah, that's the same with a lot of things, but I tend to speak my mind with you guys, so. Would it be completely and utterly horrible if I go get a coffee right now? I think I might do that. I mean, we could wait in between sets like a professional, but I really kind of want some coffee right now. I feel like this is going to be a banger game. All right, you guys are cool with that? All right, let me thank a couple subs first. Beta, thanks for the 19. Glad you enjoyed the Fatoria videos. Yeah, anyone here watch that already? That was uploaded this morning. I know, there's like too much content. You guys are like overwhelmed with Titans League and then also the videos, but it was good. Thank you, Dardanos. Thank you, M-Chill. Thank you, Avalanche. Welcome back. Wow, hold on. We have M-Chill hitting the year. Avalanche hitting a year. Juggler Blaine is 1 month away from 4 years. And then Sleecham hit 2 years today. Big salutes for these people. Thank you, Nuclear, for the 2 years as well. And Jetpack Jones, thank you for 14 months. What was I going to do? God, I've got such squirrel brain. I was going to get coffee. Okay, I'll be right back. We'll go. Let me just go get coffee. It won't take too long. I don't expect any crazy openings here from what we're seeing. Well, actually, it is 2 on wood for Daniel. So this could be a fast feudal for Daniel, and I'll leave you with Daniel's scout because of it. Be right back. Okay. So I was going to sip my coffee and my water for a second, but what is happening here? Daniel has a barracks. Daniel has a vill. So here comes Daniel walking forward for some reason, and then Valas has gone for a crazy forward wall. And he's going to get that. I mean, that is really far. Well, look how far he's gone, dude. Did I miss a bear? What happened? Was there a bear involved? All right, so Daniel's going to go forward stone wall. I don't actually hate this. Like, the idea obviously is pretty sound to secure those areas of the map so you could have more of the map to work with. But this just reminds me of what happened last time. Daniel wasn't able to calm down, and it became a problem. And guys, we've got a bear on Vill here. And Daniel de-aggroed it a bunch. So if you're ever in the woods without, you know, anything to defend yourself, and a bear starts attacking you, just quickly place a palisade wall. And it'll de-aggro it for a second, and then hopefully you can run away. Or wait till your scout shows up, I guess. So I guess maybe Daniel did the similar thing in the south. And these are good wall positions for Daniel to lock down. You can keep an eye on this stone. Valas is going to see that, though. But Valas is not necessarily planning to do much with that yet. And Valas showing the barracks to Daniel, so Daniel's probably up against the scout opening, which he was probably expecting in the first place. Wouldn't it be better to punch the bear without the boxing gloves? I guess technically, yes. But the boxing gloves are just a mod. Just in case there's one person who is really confused on why the villagers have boxing gloves. Because there's always one guy. That's not an actual thing. That's true, though. I didn't think about that. That the gloves should actually mean it's safer. And this is war, so. Goose Badger, first message in the channel, says, I am that guy. See? The reason I bring this up every so often, the reason I have to repeat myself is because there's always that one guy. What's up, that guy? Welcome. Thank you, Palmat, for the 5 gifted while I was getting coffee. Thank you, Patchacor, for the year. And Patchacor says, I really enjoy this game without that chicken guy talking. Okay, that's not nice. I have to read these. Sojourn, thank you also for the year. Sick. You know what I'm going to talk about that you guys probably don't care about whatsoever, but it's important to me because I'm the streamer? The sub badges. So I actually get excited when there's like a new wave of people that hit a year and their badge is fully blue. I'm like, yo, that's really dope. And then if you hit 2 years, guys, the badge is all red. And it's based on Age of Empires player colors. Again, I don't really think that's super important to all of you, but, you know, those milestones get celebrated in some way. Hey. So Valas does not know about this other wall. Now, this could affect the pathing. So if he clicks units behind here, well, actually, they won't have a way to get there whatsoever. What if we run out of colors? Well, then I just retire. So, you know, once we get that far, I just stop. I just move on to Fortnite, and it's not T90 official. It's like T12 unofficial. I don't know. What color is my coffee? Well, it's blue, of course. And it's going to be just passing. Don't you wait. I'll definitely have to take a break. So, scouts are out for Valas in the middle. And this is what we expected. In Daniel's case, he benefited from getting the extra vills faster than he would have. Well, faster and also not as fast, depending on how you look at it. But at least going fast feudal, he got the 2 extra vills very quickly. And now he gets the 2 extra vills here. Burgundians, though, cheap light cav, cheap husbandry. And there will be the second stable. And then, of course, the biggest thing here is Daniel used his stone on walls, so he can't build TCs. Bro, what is Daniel on right now? We've got Vills walking around the middle with no loom. He's double stable right now. Like, Daniel's he's just playing crazy right now. Double stable I don't necessarily hate. But not being able to build a second TC feels very weird. Because now, basically, if you don't win map control, you're just going to be outboomed. And the idea behind these stone walls is that long-term, you have control of that. Well, this isn't going to be a long-term game if you don't boom. He also doesn't have a market, so he can't buy the stone. Everything about this just feels like Daniel is just bringing relegated energy. I think maybe if it was the first round, we would see him play things a little bit different. But I also appreciate the different things we're seeing from a spectator standpoint. It does make it a bit harder to predict. And I think that also has some type of power against the opponent too. But like Valas is smart. He falls back. He sees the light cap production and he falls back to heal up. And he'll snag an upgrade here, and he's 2 TCs with Burgundians, so this should be good for him. But actually, Daniel does have the relics on the outside that he could basically take for free now. And he sees the 2 in the south. I didn't actually think about that. I think this back monastery is so he can get those relics. His spearman gets sniped. This is why you don't see too many players add the spearman in the first place at this level. Just because those light calf can get the kills in these numbers and then heal up anyways. And Daniel sees there's weak ones in the mix. I don't know if he realizes that forging is in, but look at the job from Valas there to send the weak ones home. That's really good work. And about to be 3 TCs and Daniel's still on 1. He will add the second here. He's got the stone now. 1 relic for both so far. $190 game, if the players even realize that, but that's what it is. I don't think they really would have had any clue. Like, Margugu certainly didn't have much of a clue yesterday. And, oof. Wow, look at the KD, dude. Valas is just looking so comfortable here. 8 kills, 0 deaths. That's a wild stat, considering they've essentially done the same thing. And the 3 town centers are all booming away. Eco upgrades are looking fantastic. And Valas will like his chances long term, but that monk, the first unit to go down for him. Daniel dropping the TC now. Look at the amount on food, guys. Daniel pulled Vils off of farms to build that TC. Oh, man, that's a lot of monks. But I don't know if Daniel's going to have the food eco to make as many Lycav. He certainly has more monks. And he's Bengalis, so he feels like he can engage here. And he will aim to engage. I think he gets some conversions. I think that might actually be good for Daniel. Losing 4 monks is not good. But he now should be able to have the middle control. I guess Valas was able to snag a relic there, though. And that's good for Valas, and Daniel doesn't have as many relics to get in the middle. And Daniel giving up some units to conversions and has to back away. I would be fine with everything Daniel's done, except for, you know, if he had gone to stone a little bit earlier. That's the main thing for me. T90, what's the most tilting civ to play against? Most tilting civ to play against. Well, I can tell you what most viewers would say. I think most viewers would probably say Mongols. Mongols is what I would assume people would say. But for me, it's got to be Georgians, hands down. There's a reason every high-level player is banning it. It's just the balance of it is just ridiculous. But that's for if we're playing a standard land map. If you're playing a standard land map, that would be it. Actually, hold on. Let me restate this. Anything Huang or Phosphorus plays, that is the most tilting civilization to play against. So that's my answer. Unless you know they actually have the guts to go random civ, then it's not so bad. Yeah, Portuguese is absolutely like you can hear the anxiety in my voice when I try and discuss organ guns. Organ guns are they're a poorly balanced unit, in my opinion. But anyways, I digress. 12 villager lead here for Valas. And the 3 TCs are there. Gold count's looking perfect for Imp. Stone count's coming in for a castle. And Valas is fighting for a lot more map control here. Remember, he has forging. Daniel does not. But Daniel does have 2 stables. So Daniel could get bloodlines and forging. And Daniel should have the superior Lycav. Triple stable now from Valas. I think this means he wants a forward castle. And he has found out the hard way that this is actually walled up. But you know what that does is that forces the issue through the middle even more. If your opponent has a wall there, you know that gives them the initiative later on. You got to take the mid right now. Oh, man, this could be really interesting, guys. Daniel's getting upgrades where he should win the fight. Bloodlines and forging when the opponent doesn't have bloodlines is really nice. He's also producing 1 more Lycav. Here come the Vils for Valas. I think he wants a forward castle, but this could be horrible. Daniel's going to engage soon. Both players will lock targets with their monks, and then I think we see the engagement happen. Will we see the engagement happen? Daniel might want to wait a little bit longer to ensure that he wins the fight, but you have bloodlines. Your opponent does not. Now he sees the castle. Now he sees the monks. He'll back up, get his own monks on target. Daniel, this is your time to take the fight. He will take the fight. Will he win the fight? I think both get conversions here. The monks aren't getting picked off, though. I think Daniel needs to pick off the monks. The monks are healing right now. What? Oh my god, he had +2 attack? Well, that was not good for Daniel. He lost every single monk. He didn't kill a monk. Usually you're going to see 2 or 3 Lycav selected there to snipe the monks. Also looked like Valas maybe had a little bit of a hill. And now you've got Lycav in your base. The castle's up from Valas on the front. Valas is on the way to Imp. Valas is even adding petards. Valas is in a great spot. And Valas, by the way, he probably is going to end up having more relics here, too. That's relic number 5. Daniel gets the snipe. And Daniel just Again, the order of things just a little bit off here. Like, I've seen better days for him, but that's part of the challenge of playing competitively is can you bring your best each and every time? And that's what Titans League kind of tests as well. And Daniel played amazing the previous game with the aggression. This map doesn't necessarily allow it. And Imp is in for Valas. Daniel's going to click. And he forgot his building. Yikes, dude. It's already bad. And then you don't have your second building. Pain. Pain. Oh, and now the light cavalry. This is over, man. This is over. The petards bust through. Paladin's on the way. I mean, Valas has played so good this tournament on Fortified Clearing, and Valas gets the win. So Valas confirmed 5th place. He gets the extra, well, $190 for winning this last game. And Dallas, wow. I combined Daniel and Valas and made it Dallas. But Daniel gets 6th. And again, for both of these two, they're both relegated. I did think we saw in the series the quality that they have, but bringing that quality consistently was really tough. And the other players in the group came in more prepared at the start as well, which I think was a really big factor. So well played, fun series here. Again, both will be Gold League players where they have been before, and we'll see if they can make it back. I obviously think they can. It's funny. Anyone who gets promoted from Gold to Platinum immediately becomes the underdog and expected to be relegated. And then anyone who gets relegated from Platinum down to Gold immediately should be seen as a player who's favorites in those groups. The conversation immediately shifts. So back to the drawing board. Hopefully their confidence comes back with, slightly lesser opponents, but I don't know. Gold is also more competitive than it was in years past as well. And there's the eco from Valas. And for Daniel, he just didn't have the eco focus this game. The stone walls were just weird. Stonewall later, add the TCs early. That's what this map is about. This didn't make a lot of sense to me. All right, so score 2-1 for Valas. Let's just look at the odds now because we have another series to come up. I also need to confirm that that what I said is correct. Valas wins 2-1. Yeah, okay. So Valas 5 wins. Valas 5th place and out. Daniel 3 wins and out, right? So that's actually great news for Andy because there's a chance that Andy could potentially still be relegated, and that's no longer the case. So he cannot win a single game against Viper, and he's still Platinum next season. Viper, he needs... Well, I guess Viper needs 1 win to confirm he's playoffs, right? Yeah, 1 win for Viper, and he's playoffs. Now, where he goes in the playoffs is determined by if he's 2nd or 3rd place. And I think it's set. I think if he's 2nd place, he goes up against Mr. Yo in the round of 12. And if he's 3rd place, he's up against Sebastian in the round of 12. So which player would Viper have the best chances against? I would say Yo. I think Sebastian has looked more dangerous. They're both tough. But, I mean, Viper's played Yo more. And like, I don't know. I know Sebastian's younger and doesn't have the career, but I think Sebastian's a little bit more dangerous. Either one is still not great. But I think either one, Viper's still probably the favorite. So that's the situation. Now, if Viper wins 3-0, does that confirm anything? Okay. So if Viper wins 3-0, he goes 2nd. Guaranteed. Regardless of what happens with Heart and Dark. And then Heart and Dark will essentially be fighting over who gets 1st place. But Dark needs 1 victory in the final series to confirm that. But I came into the whole group thinking that Heart would be better than Dark. So we'll see. Dark has been an amazing standout. But yeah, this is the actual live standings with no, messing around in probabilities. All right.